see all the mistreatment and the violations of their civil and human rights that's happening with them. And so I talked to the Lord about it and asked him, you know, what do I do with this? Because it's very painful, and for a minute I just lost touch because it was just so too much. You know, it's heavy. And so I'm thankful for us joining together, letting each other know, you know, because people that have similar situations are empowered when they, you know, expose the injustice and not just let it hide and continue to happen, you know? We have to utilize our voices and speak out against stuff, because a lot of times silence is condoning. And so just come together to try to find solutions, and I can talk about some ways that I have tried to be heard, and yell louder and louder and gather people. And yeah, so this is why we're here. And it's nothing formal. We usually eat by now from 5:30 to 6, but the food is coming. So we just continue on and get familiar with each other and talk about why we're here.
I'm next. I'm James. I was here a couple weeks ago speaking about my nonprofit, and Cheryl asked me to come back to do some video recording, as the reviews on that recording were through the roof from the group. I do want to make a little bit of a disclaimer. This last Sunday I came down with bronchitis, but I've taken the antibiotic, so I am not contagious. But if you hear the cough, that lasts and lingers for quite a while. Oh no, what happened?
That's good.
Oh. Uh-oh.
Anybody need a mask?
There we go. You guys back on?
He disclosed that, guys. He said he's not contagious because he wouldn't have come.
I would not have come
Oh,
at
I was
all.
just messing.
I know you're messing with me.
That was a good
Kinda.
No, I did some
I
research.
do have to mask though, yeah.
I did some research on it, and if you're on antibiotic 48 hours after you take it, you're no longer contagious. If you don't take antibiotic, it takes up to 4 days. So, but yeah, I may be crazy, but I ain't dumb.
Hey,
Yep.
you didn't say who you are.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Don't make me laugh though.
Okay.
We all, yep, it's your turn.
Oh, me?
Yep, all you.
Nico Harris. I pretty much stand for all injustices. Stand for the cause.
No.
Next.
Tanya Daniels. I'm here because of Cheryl's story, and like he said, all injustices.
That's what Lisa. I'm here with Cheryl. As everyone else, all injustices, mainly this one here Cheryl's doing. Treatment to illness, don't mistreat mental illness.
Okay, so I'm Rochelle Porter, and I'm here because I'm part of the media, and some things that's happening is just hard to take. And it doesn't matter who you are, for law enforcement to do the wrong thing. And for some reason, here lately, God's been saying, okay, tired of y'all getting away with it all.
Yep.
So all of a sudden, he's snatching them up. And that's all we can say is our blessing.
Amen. Welcome. I'm glad y'all are here, realizing that we need to come together because we're the solution.
I don't know if it's just us in the meeting or
That's like
Gina's
not
in.
for me.
is she?
Gina's right there. Yeah,
Okay.
Gina, I was just talking to her. Somebody can do it.
I'll go get it.
Hello?
Turn the camera off.
Hi, Charlotte. You here?
Off of you?
Yeah.
Sure, absolutely, on the way.
Okay. I'll just turn it to Cheryl for right now.
Y'all need to talk.
Yeah, I'll go get it.
And I just lasted a while. I did, God did.
I was talking to Gina before, earlier when you was talking to Layla,
Okay.
when she was on there, she was hearing.
Hi,
She's
Gina.
been still the whole time, but that's just been a solid.
Oh, okay. Hi, Charlotte.
Hey, Charlotte.
I love it. Good energy.
Yes.
A couple of weeks ago, or I think the last time we met, we heard from Lisa Miller,
Mhm.
and he's with the North County
Equity,
Equity and Justice Coalition.
yeah.
Equity and Justice Coalition, and doing like the same kind of work. They have a campaign going right now called Saving Lives in Custody. So that, you know.
Oh, you know what? She's not hearing us. I'm muted. She's only seeing video. Crap. Are you still there? Can you hear us now?
Gina.
See, I think Gina.
Here now, thank God.
Oh, I am so sorry.
Wow.
When it cut off, I didn't even realize it was muted. So I am so sorry, Gina.
Okay, I'm
Yeah.
glad you're
I just
here.
wanted to say,
Okay, did you at least get the introductions, Gina?
no,
No,
Okay, introduce yourself.
she didn't get any of us.
I'm Gina,
Go ahead, Gina.
I'm Gina Burns. I'm the founder of Moms Against Torture. I have 2 sons, and one son suffers from mental illness. He's schizophrenic, and he's being really just neglected in the system. And today I was in San Bernardino for the 3rd day now because he got lost in the system, and I had to make a missing persons report, but they found him today, and he's back in jail.
Awesome.
They put her back in jail?
I'm here to listen and learn. Thank you.
Okay, Gina, I think we should go through introductions again. Because if she didn't
Okay.
hear, okay. But you came
It's
in
the
late.
same people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Gina knows who you are?
it's okay.
Okay, we're good.
So we did some activities with Lisa Miller, North County Equity and Justice Coalition, supporting that campaign in custody death, because you know there's so many deaths happening. And so we did a press conference in front of the sheriff's department, and she would not meet with the people whose loved ones lost their lives. It was just terrible.
Really?
No, she would not come out and.
Wow.
It was terrible.
Mm.
Just don't care.
She just said that she just wanna do one-on-one.
Right.
You know,
They're
that's
like,
what
no,
they-
we support one another. We doing this together. That's how we, you know what I mean, get through it.
Mm-hmm.
And that would not come.
Yeah, both of
Both
the
times.
times, yeah,
2 times.
yeah.
So I like that action being done, you know. I'm always trying to get in there and instead of just having meetings and sitting here, you know. We gotta do some stuff. And I want us to go to the county supervisor's office and speak out against police brutality. But today, the state is holding a council. And I wanted us all to get on that line because they tell like their future plan, and their highlight is the mentally ill, the mentally ill who they call it the behavioral health justice involved.
Mm-hmm.
So that's their target population. And they're doing a lot of great things. They got a lot. They're talking about connecting people to Medi-Cal 3 months before they're released,
Mm-hmm.
so that they don't have to, you know, search around unmedicated and untreated while they're trying to access mental health treatment. Because we know more times than not, they're gonna be messed up.
Yep.
Coming out more than they were when they went in.
Oh,
You know, it's not
yeah.
any help for them inside, so that's why I don't understand, and I know it's intentional that they have the sentences so long, you know what I mean, just to oppress us and just extinguish us.
Are we
Yeah.
able to offer, like, our suggestions during that time, or no?
Where public comment,
Yeah,
we have public comment.
okay.
Absolutely.
Aye.
You can go on the agenda, but you can also go off the agenda, just as citizens,
Okay,
they wanna be heard.
yeah, they need to meet to case management and all kinds of
Absolutely,
things.
it's so important, long term.
Yeah,
But it's the way you do it, you can't just violate their rights and just worsen. You know, it's really strategic, really comprehensive ways to engage them.
so that they aren't put back in that situation
Yep.
and are,
Which happens most times,
Yeah.
right
Should
now.
be an exit plan.
yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Like you guys said, at least 3 months in advance.
I think that's a great,
Mm-hmm.
and, it's called, the council is called so the Council on Criminal Justice, so CCJDH. And they have that schedule on there when they meet in different groups, like today they have the reentry and diversion program.
Piece of paper.
The name of that. You guys put it in your cards, in your notes. Can you put it in your phone, in your notes? It's just CCJDH. They're hiring, support, peer support specialists, and training them to really, be that person with lived experience. It's always better when you're,
Are they out there? I thought I saw a truck.
I'm trying to get in.
Okay. No, come to the front one. We're letting you in right now.
Okay.
Okay, all right.
About them hiring peer support,
Peer support specialists in all areas though, they got.
and this is
addiction
to help,
lines.
yeah, I would like to
Yeah,
check them
on
out,
this
because
rec- on this-
I
on
want
this
to,
website, on this
okay,
website.
yeah.
I'm just so excited, I mean, so much good stuff that this is their focus, you know?
Yeah.
Like-
Okay, you sit right there.
Yeah.
Hi,
so-
Vicky.
Okay,
Vicky?
hey, how you doing?
Vicky, just to let you know, we are recording as well.
Oh, okay.
So if you're not comfortable, I can always crop your area out.
Okay.
Can you
How's
go-
my sitting there? Oh, traffic is so heavy.
Yeah, it was.
Uh-huh. I'll start leaving if I want to get here at 5:30 at 5.
No.
Perfect though.
It was cool coming to Paradise Hill.
Okay,
No pressure.
okay.
Okay, so we have Vicky. Introduce yourself, Vicky, so everybody.
My name is Vicki Lewis, and I lost a son in jail April 11. This April will be a year it happened.
Welcome, Vicky. Okay, so where should this go? I'm not,
Who cares? Whoever's speaking.
not really good with the Zoom. But,
But you're speaking so far, so.
Charlie, can you tell them like how the press conference went?
Yeah,
Move here.
so, my name's Charlotte, I'm an affected family member. My uncle was, killed attempting suicide back in the 80s, and then fast forward to 2020, or 19 or 18, my little brother was, shot by the police attempting suicide, and he survived. He had 22 surgeries after that, and they ended up charging him with quite a few things, and because of his mental health. So he ended up going through the process of like the court, and the police officer that shot him into what I felt harassed us quite a bit, our family. You know, he would come to my job when I was working overnight, and that was after my brother was successful with the suicide attempt. So I'm just here to support and to make suggestions on how we can prevent this from happening in the future. I also have a daughter who was profiled, and the police at her school brought her in to interrogate her when she was a freshman. She's now a senior, but she goes to a predominantly white school, and she is mixed, but they don't see her as being mixed. They see her as being a black girl, and they think that they can treat her accordingly, or in any kind of way, inhumane, you know, that she doesn't have rights. And so it's been a hard fight to get her through her schooling and pushing her to college, but that's why I find these meetings so helpful. And you know, I just want to get justice for those families, and for the people that are still suffering. So the press conference that we went to was in front of the sheriff's department in Curtis Mesa, and all the affected family members that were there who have had loved ones pass away at the hands of police while they're incarcerated, or just basically in the hands of the San Diego Police Department. We're there, they got to speak, and the media was there. I think that it's been very helpful to be in a group chat with them. So sometimes it gets a little overwhelming, but I feel like for the most part, we're able to do a lot of like speaking out to the community so that we can be heard, and that our loved ones that passed away, it didn't happen to them to where we're not fighting for them and nobody knows about it. So, and there's more to come. I think we also went on a Zoom. What was the Zoom for, Cheryl? I caught
For
the.
that board.
Yeah, for the board, for a board meeting.
It's a state and community correction, so it's an oversight for the state.
Yeah.
Facilities, state institutions.
Yeah. So, I think that.
That's a good board to get on too and listen to too, because they try to get around helping in certain ways. But today it really seemed like they were really empathetic, and they were saying that they wish they didn't have the job of treating mentally ill people, because they realize they're not trained. They can't. They
A lot
can't
to
do it.
entail.
They're
It's
just
a lot.
forced to do it.
It's a lot.
Isn't that
And there's
crazy?
been a lot
A
of.
lot.
Well, at least they were honest about it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
today.
right?
At least they
Today,
were honest.
I really felt like we made headway, because
I mean, most likely
these
the
people were on there and they were like, we want answers. Do you know how bad that feels? You can't get, you don't even get justified with answers. I mean, there's no justification, but closure, answers. How did it happen? Like someone said, I was just talking to him 2 days before this happened, or one of them was overdosed on fentanyl. Where they get the fentanyl? You know, they're like, we want answers.
Yeah.
Right, it's like not rocket
Crazy,
science. Like,
yeah.
Y'all ain't getting out of this.
Yes.
the problem
They
is
were adamant about it.
the problem
Like
is
they
the
should be, right?
the boards are usually made like that, are usually made up of politicians who aren't trained in that aspect.
One of the other things that we spoke about was pushing Kelly Martinez, the new sheriff, to scan her employees before they go into the jails and prisons, and she just thinks that they don't need to be scanned because it is, I don't know, like violating their rights, you
Right.
know, but meanwhile, like, I feel, you know, when COVID first happened, I would look on, I don't remember the exact website, but I'll think about it in a minute, but you would be able to see like X amount of people were killed from fentanyl overdose, and that's not getting in there because of the prisoners that's getting in there because of the guards. So we absolutely need to continue to push for the employees to be scanned. And then we had 3 sheriffs, or no, I guess it would be, no, 3 that have been arrested since the beginning of the year now. So one of them, it was cocaine, I believe, that they found in his car, and probably a bunch of other things. And then 2 of them were fighting at a bar. Just like behaviors that you shouldn't, when you're wearing a uniform, that's not what you should be. Yeah, it's not appropriate. So I kind of feel like, you know, since the beginning of the year, they've maybe been putting more light in that area. But we'll see what Kelly Martinez wants to do about her staff.
So when you say scan, because please enlighten me a little bit, what type of scanning are you talking about? Are you talking about
So-
wanding or what?
No, like the X-ray scan or want all of it. You know, I think that they don't like when they go into a courthouse.
Oh, you mean like metal detector or what? Or body scan?
Body scans, because that's
Okay.
how they're getting the dope in there. And
Yeah.
our loved ones are dying, or like I had a client, I work at a detox facility, so I had a client come in last night, and our criteria is they have to be using or in active withdrawal. So this particular client had been using fentanyl in prison, and it's like how so much of me wanted to ask him, like, how did he get that, you know? And then
Yeah.
they wouldn't help him because now that he's out, he isn't testing positive for that. So, you know, we're one of the only facilities that will help with that kind of thing. But yeah, it's hard.
I mean, look, if
So
the
you said your criteria is you have to be using it?
Yeah, so we have a couple facilities, like in the area that I work in. So the one that I work in is a detox. So the criteria is they have to be in active withdrawal. So that's probably like 1 to 2 days, or depending on the drug, like Xanax, they can have like a long after effect, alcohol, you know, things like that. So
But they're young, but a lot of them. A lot of them young.
old, young, because addiction doesn't
discriminate.
discriminate, you know. So, and it's very
Yeah.
hard to you literally need somebody to pick you up and pull you out of of your mess. You know, at least that's what it was like for me. I just had celebrated 3 years clean on the 8th. So yeah.
Congratulations. One second at a time, girl. One
Yeah,
second at a
that's what it
time.
was like for me, because I was in psychosis and suffered from mental health also. So that's why it's something that, you know, a meeting like this is something that's very like near and dear to my heart, because I know what it's like to be in a psychosis and like not know what like the difference is, you know, and just yeah. So I'm gonna be able to help those that are still separated.
It really is a difficult one with that whole body scan thing, because I
But
understand where
inmates have to go through it, so
right,
why
and
don't
and
staff?
I get that. I don't even like it at the airports. And so if the TSA at the airport can have it to body scan passengers going through,
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you on that front, that
They need to.
they need to. But I have to play devil's advocate here too and say I understand her concern with invasion of privacy. Not to make that excuse, but I understand kind of where she's coming from at the same time.
I just feel like the inmates that
They
go
can
in
get
there
bumped.
don't have that same,
Right.
they're not being treated that same way. They don't
No.
care about their invasion of privacy, you know?
Agreed.
And they are scanning them,
And they
they're
have a whole bunch
bending
of
over,
misconduct.
coughing,
Yeah.
A whole long
everything.
list of misconduct, more than, you know what I mean, some second.
Well, and granted, 99% of the time it is the correctional officers or sheriffs, depending on whether it's state prison or, you know, county jail. That's why I use the
Well,
two
it's
different.
Like a whole lot of
They're dropping it, yeah.
Use of authority.
Mhm.
It is. They're supposed to set the example as law enforcement. But if they're doing the exact opposite of what they're supposed to do, I mean, the only way that they can, you know, get away.
Means a scam. Make street thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, what,
it
I
is.
mean, what do you have to hide? Like, let's just
Right.
go through here and
Yeah.
get on with our day.
Somehow.
No, agreed.
Yeah, they just think it's magically appearing in there. People are
They sure
overdosing.
do.
I think that COVID was a huge cover-up for all of the fentanyl deaths that happened in county jail as well as prison. You know, they were talking about COVID numbers, but they weren't talking about fentanyl numbers to our loved ones that are
Right.
incarcerated.
Agreed.
They just hid a bunch of stuff
Yeah.
in the name of COVID. I
Lots.
feel.
Yeah.
Our prices are up everywhere. Everything's so expensive. Like,
Yeah. They gotta
eggs are
recoup from
$8.
all that money that they lost.
Yeah.
So, by just cause see, they thought that it was the end. Everybody was getting ready to go. So they just started giving away money. Hand over fist, no question asked. Now when they found out that there's a cure for it, per se,
Right.
now they want that money back. So how they gonna get us? They gonna get it with high
Well,
prices
we
of
gotta
food,
have
the gas
our
and all of
basic
that, cause they gonna tax everything.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you know, one thing and I've said this for quite a while now, especially with the whole drug thing, one thing I wouldn't be surprised on is if the politicians are getting kickbacks.
You already know they
Absolutely.
are. Come on now.
Yeah.
Come on, or else it would.
There wouldn't be some.
Right.
They making some kind
Start watching the
of.
blacklist.
All about money.
Start watching the blacklist, and you'll see.
All about
It's
money.
not a lie.
And I'll tell you one thing my grandmother used to say to us when we were kids, when she was alive, when she found out we were lying, and politicians on both sides do it, lie,
Yeah.
is she would flat out say, you a liar, your feet stink, and you don't love Jesus.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you, I see that with the politicians.
Yeah.
You know,
They tell people what they want to hear because it's already corrupt. It's way above them.
and is not,
The politicians, it's
Yeah.
way up. This is way
Yeah.
up there. This is up there high.
and it
This
was
is up
not
there
what
real
was
high.
intended in the beginning, though.
Yeah.
When the Declaration of Independence and all that was signed, that was not intended when that was
Of
signed
course not.
for it to be that way.
Of course not. But you have greedy people.
Yep. And the good old story scripture.
Yeah.
The love of money is the root of all evil.
Yeah, for sure.
For the love of money.
For the love of money.
Yes.
I think so, a whole lot of this stuff with the police department stuff would change, like I think, is if people who are committing the crimes within law enforcement lose their paycheck, their 401ks, they all that kind of stuff. Because it doesn't matter that they're violating us, we're paying for it in the end when somebody
Right.
wins a lawsuit. And I think the first place everything should come from is their house, their car, their bank account, because they still got money, even though if they're found to have done, broken the law and stuff.
If they
We got
paid
it.
out the course or whatever, they still got money stacked.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I personally think
Pensions and
that the politicians should get paid the exact same amount of salary that your local grocery store worker gets paid. Because as soon as they see their paycheck going away like that,
Yeah.
all hell gonna break loose. Watch them straighten up pretty fast.
No.
I think they're just hitting their pocket to say they the first one, money up. They'll be like, man,
that would speak to them.
Yeah, if their money comes
Start
before,
flying right then.
yeah, they'll be like, man, I can't lose my pet. Yeah, I got kids,
So as far as because my son called me the other day and he told me the names and I forgot to bring them as I was mentioning to you. He told me the names of some medication that he was taking. So when I looked it up, I mean, it's something that because he's bipolar and schizophrenic. Schizoaffective. And he was using, but of course he's not now. Well, I don't know. He
Right.
sounded kind of sluggish when he calls on the phone sometimes. Since he didn't went to prison, he sounds a little funny now. So I don't
Has
know.
he been in prison now?
A couple months.
Okay.
Yeah, a couple months. So he's these medications. I looked it up, and he told me, he said, well, they don't give you Seroquel. They don't have Seroquel in prison.
Yeah, they do.
I said, huh? What do you mean they don't have Seroquel? So I'll show you the name of the medications that he's saying. So it treats him for this, but he's saying one of them, which one? It's the Seroquel that helps you sleep at night.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, so he's gonna need that. He said, well, good, I'm glad this guy that I'm in here with don't snore, because it would be a problem. I mean, I don't know how you get up at night, and I don't know, you know, how it goes in there, but, you know, I just wanted to find that out and find out who do I need to contact in there to see if they still offer Seroquel or not.
I would try to contact the medical director or the health, nurses or whatever,
Okay.
you know,
Mhm.
It's already
department.
been taken.
What?
Seriously.
He was taking that when he was in over here in George Bailey.
Well, Seroquel make you stay asleep for like 5-6 days straight.
It can, depending on the dosage.
Yeah, he was on it for like he wasn't on it
Yeah.
real heavy, but real heavy because he would wake up and communicate during the daytime. Like he didn't like to get up at 8 o'clock in the morning, but like about 9:30 would be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he just said it just helped him sleep better. And I was like, well, you in there, I don't think you wanna be sleep
Stay nah,
stay
not at all. But
sleep like that.
He come to do that because they went to the station.
Yeah.
They went to that
So
time.
they give you
Yeah.
something that's pumped
Knocks
up
you out.
and added more of the strongest thing they could find or something.
Seriously, really strong.
This is what I'm trying to figure out. So that's I'll start with their calling and asking them, because he was telling me the dosages of it. Then he just told me that they switched his medication again. So I don't think you should be switching medications all
Yeah.
like
You
that.
should.
Yeah.
It's about assessing and
Yes,
monitoring.
yes.
Yeah.
So I have to figure that
When
out.
you change medication
Yeah.
too often too. like, you
Yeah.
gotta, You know.
You're not a guinea pig, and I also have to, one of my little brother's been in and out of the prison system for years. So he's, a veteran, pretty much.
Yeah.
And he takes medications, and when I talk to him on the phone, it's like sometimes I don't even be understanding what he's saying, because he did go to, at one point they sent him to a testadero. You know, a testadero, they give you all different types of medication to keep you medicated. So, I don't want him to end up like that.
Right.
Well, and the other thing that they got to get used to is the fact of that when administering meds, they're going to check your mouth and everywhere around to make sure you actually swallowed it.
Okay.
Because there are inmates, and I saw it daily at Donovan State Prison.
Snort it.
Yeah, no, they'll snort it, but they'll hide it
Yeah.
until they get to their cell to snort it.
Yeah, they still do that.
Yeah.
In front of it.
Yeah, exactly. So ain't no way around it, because how they getting, pretty much all this stuff that
Yeah.
they getting off in there, who's bringing in the
Yeah, where
inmates?
you
Definitely can't bring
where
it
you
in
get
there.
cell phone in.
Hey, I wasn't gonna say a word about that, because he
Hey,
been
you gotta call
on
the
real,
first
that's
time.
it, that's it.
Well, it's not being recorded
That's it.
here.
Okay.
What's not doing it?
Zoom is recording is turned off.
Why?
It's only because she did. She said I'm not doing recording there,
Okay.
but it's over there. So
So,
that's beside the point.
Oh, you got a Zoom call. Oh, okay.
Yeah, we got a Zoom here.
Yeah, I had a nephew, Stephen Anthony Harris. It's a strange situation. He suffers from mental illness and alcohol pigs. And I'm gonna call him pig because I'm not gonna never respect him. You know what I'm saying? I'm from the era. You can kill us and do whatever you want. So a word pisses you off. That's what it takes for you to change, or which it probably doesn't. But he got killed the day before Thanksgiving, and they said the car hit him, but the car was never reported. None of that stuff. So we went doing our own homework. And you look in the story, this is where Alfred Alonso, that was one of his buddies. So now it makes me wonder, was this done behind him standing for something? You know what I'm saying?
right.
And so the car was supposed to hit him, and then so I did my own stuff. You know what I mean? And they hit his body. They did all kinds of stuff. We had to go hunt for him and demand answers.
Wow.
A couple of weeks ago, a
Was
week
this
prior.
last?
This is 2020. It was probably a week prior time he stepped out. She's like a real thorough with everything.
Mhm.
So
It's a good thing.
she got the video. She showed him all the stuff. They put all these fake narratives in the media, and when the media came out, it was just weird. That why would you have a press conference for somebody that's laying on the ground hit by a car? But there was no hit and run. So the police hit my son came up. They told him get the F out of here, yada yada. He's dead. So what? They identified him. They said they identified him. My brother came, which is the next of kin. He just lost my nephew just lost his mom prior to this, probably a couple of months prior. So he had breakdowns, And they know him real well. He actually got fed work. And once again, Tanya, she made a report for the ADA and mental health, like a complaint. So I find it ironically, the day before Thanksgiving, which is the favorite holiday, they killed it. You know what I'm saying? They call me a conspiracy theorist and all this and this and that.
I wanted to say, so I live in El Cajon now, but a similar situation just like that happened by my house recently where they staged it. This is what I believe because I swear, they staged it, but like so I'm coming out and I see like the police all around and there was a truck there. There wasn't no body, no medical examiner, no white van, no nothing. So there was a truck, and I'm like, okay, that's weird. It looked like they were either setting somebody up, something like that shady was going on. So in the paper they said that somebody, or the news, that somebody was killed there. There was nobody there.
Yeah.
For them to get hit, and the way that they were saying, like the person like ran under this truck, and they had to like the way that they had it. There's no possible way that somebody. And then they like placed a hat in the
Same
middle,
thing they did to my nephew.
in the middle of the
Put on
street.
the
This
side
is
of the
in
pocket.
El Cajon,
Yeah.
right there on Main Street. This
This
was
was on
probably
Casey.
like a couple months ago.
Is that right?
They
That's
placed
what I'm saying,
a
right?
red hat right
I
there,
didn't look
like
into that.
this was supposed to be the person's hat, but there was nobody there.
Same thing to my nephew.
Nobody there. There was not a body. There wasn't and I sat there and watched the whole thing like, okay.
And there was a lot of weird stuff in this situation, the same type of stuff on my nephew. They took all, this is a Bronco fan, so he had, you know, it was real when COVID was real heavy. And prior to this, they tased him. But he was like, no, I'm a Bronco. The taser went off him. So they took his ID. You know what I'm saying? But it was weird that they made the media and ID'd him. But under my dad name, my nephew was the third. So how do you ID him? You knew him already. They already had a lot of run-ins with him, harassing him every day, whatever. But this particular time, he got one time he had another breakdown where he had a standoff it actually went into Thanksgiving that year. This is the year like probably 2012. So that's how he got the prison sentence when the parole that he was on at the time. You know what I mean? So every single time they bothered him. You know what I'm saying? He got so mad to where he threw every single thing out the house at them. You know what I mean?
Wow.
6-hour standoff. And so they always was mad. You know what I mean? So make a long story short, so the way they did it, like similar to what you were saying, they threw stuff out his pockets and they threw it around him. My son was like, he was, you know, they didn't have no compassion on that. You know what I mean? He's a minor at the time. You know what I mean? They're like, he's a kid. He's dead. Get out of here. And they slammed the body back right in front. I'm 2 minutes away. So a lot of times down there, they can stand off. You know what I'm saying? If somebody hit by a car, hey, I'm sorry. You know, you're gonna have some. You can see that it was gun. It was Sergeant Riley. I'm calling names. Sergeant Riley and Sergeant Paz. Paz now all of a sudden resigned. I've been studying white. I'm gonna call it like it's supremacy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I've been studying all that. So, and I'm gonna go back into it with whining. You hit his body. You didn't. How do you identify him? You know what I'm saying? Then he started demanding answers. Now all of a sudden, where you would like to send him to? He said, send him to Radcliffe. Now he gets down there. I'm not gonna disclose what was found.
Right.
But he was never hit by no car. I got the videos of the car. The car don't have no bang. Like I said, she's thorough. You know what I'm saying? There's no banging. There's no debris in the street. There's no tires burning. Then you got put in the media. If you look up Stephen Anthony Harris, they're gonna say he was hit at 30 miles an hour. How do you know any of that?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? How do you know it's the correct thing? Then when we go to 7-Eleven, they're standing around the car, and they got all those videos. You know what I'm saying? They're going to get held accountable one way or another. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm not done. You know what I mean? It might have been 2 years ago or whatever, but it's going to get held accountable because it makes no sense on how you, like you just said, you see the same
There
similar
was
situation.
no tires, like you can see somebody goes to
Right. And you know I'm going to end with this because I'll be here all night. It was on and on and on.
They placed that
So,
truck there, they placed that,
right,
like,
same type of
everything.
stuff. But this one, they had a fire truck blocking him. You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying this and I'm going to end it, so I'll be here all night. If I tell you all the facts, you'll be like, what? But anyway, so as I went on, now they sent a warrant to the house after he's dead. You know what I'm saying? They're harassing my brother like, oh, we have some belongings to him, send a jacket to him. Just all kinds of hateful stuff.
Are they supposed to
And then
keep this stuff
like,
in evidence or whatnot?
well, they shouldn't even have
Release
that. They had this stuff from previous arrests. They didn't have a didactic report with no names on it. You know what I'm saying? And we did our homework. I found out who the driver was. He was never arrested. The car never put away. Then I seen that. I ain't gonna talk too much information because they're gonna see when it comes to him.
Yeah.
He wasn't hit by no car. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And like you said, you see the same type of thing. So.
Yeah.
And then we never got no report to this day. We never got no police report. We never got
Wow.
nothing. And the report they gave my brother, you know what I'm saying, was exactly. With no information, it was a paper blacked out, like being funny. You Then they say we don't want your brother, you don't want me to come down there because I'm, you know, I'm a
Yeah.
Panther, I'm a black, you know, what I mean, I'm active, you know what I'm saying? But my bro's kind of like, man, you know what? He's mad and upset, but he don't fish like I do. You know what I'm saying? He kind of like, man, you know, not that he don't care, but he's a little different than I am.
Right, right.
So they want to talk to him to be calm. I'm turned
Yeah.
up because how you gonna sit back? I seen him on the ground like that. You know what I'm saying? And you just heard about my child, my family seeing it. And he's like a half a block away from the house. How you don't go notify somebody?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He throw all the stuff on the street. Why would he do that? You know what I'm saying? And you identify him. And then you destroy his visuals. Everywhere around he have visuals.
But when it comes to
And
the
they destroyed
evidence,
them?
Huh?
They destroyed them?
Yeah, they figure we kind of like our videos and them taking the stuff and breaking the candle lights and it goes deep, you know what I mean? It's like, but you're supposed to stay sane behind this though. So their plan is to make it, they want every last one of us to be
Yeah.
mentally, you know, lost.
Right, right,
Or do something to break their life, arrest us or whatever they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
They
right.
never held accountable for that. Like Alonzo, okay, you hit him with a taser,
Mm-hmm.
but then you hit him with live force. He had a mental break, and I said, I bring him in because it was mental
Yeah.
issue.
Right,
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then we stole our better phones. So what are you doing? Same way at home, same thing. See?
when it, first of all, let me just say I'm not a fan of El Cajon PD at all. The good majority of them that I've met are jerks. Absolute jerks. And I've let their top dog know my feeling about that. I mean, they supposedly have a crew scheduled to El Cajon Transit for the homeless issues on El Cajon Transit. And I have an issue with homeless on El Cajon Transit because of the fact that they'll shoot up on there. The place just smells like urine and feces, the whole 9 yards, because they'll live there on El Cajon Transit. A number of years ago,
But can I
Because
say something
sometimes they
about
don't
that?
have nowhere
That's
else to live.
because, yeah, that and because the people were getting funding for the homeless crisis and the addiction crisis, and they were pocketing that money, and it wasn't going towards what it was supposed to go towards.
Correct.
So it spiraled out of control.
Yeah.
well, good night.
Shouldn't be there. You shouldn't be there in the first place, but they pushing people out of their houses. Like,
Yeah.
Gary
Well-
Wills, A-Cubs.
And then the hotels that are out there that are actually trying to help those people, then they're getting reprimanded and put in the media, like, because they're helping them. But all the funding that they got was in the millions for funding for the mental health and addiction and the homeless, so they shouldn't be on the transit like that, but they don't have anywhere to go.
Right. That part.
For those that came in late, just so you're aware, Sunday I came down with bronchitis. I'm not contagious because I was on antibiotic for 4 days. But the lingering cough is just going to go forever. So I apologize for that. But as it pertains to what I was saying about the homeless earlier, I remember one incident where one of the city bus drivers, because not only do I have my own nonprofit, I'm known as Mr. MTS throughout San Diego. That's the nicknames the drivers have given me. And I remember one of the drivers one time came to me and said, Mr. MTS, can you do anything about the homeless situation? That's before I knew a lot more than I know now. And I said, give me a little bit of time. I'm on the phone with the attorney from MTS. Thank you. I'm on the phone with the attorney from MTS pretty much as I'm going up the steps to the trolley. And she says, do you have video? Do you have pictures? Do you have this? Do you have that? I'm like, nope. But the drivers do. I wasn't even thinking at that time that the platform's recorded. And I said, but the drivers do. And I said, you can call the ops manager in East County. They did. By the next week on that Friday, they had 20 arrests. The majority of them they had to put in detox and let back out. But 3 of them, and I heard this directly from security top dogs, 3 of them were parolees that never checked in with their parole officer. And they actually caught the drug dealer days later when he was pulling in to re-give drugs to the homeless. They had a task force out there and they caught him. He was trying to push the drugs out of his car so he could take off. and they nailed him right there. They didn't kill him, but they arrested him. So it's a fine line now for me to walk taking MTS with this. There are certain things I won't call MTS on nowadays, but if it's as bad as it was at that time, and I have a driver come to me, I would probably have to intervene because of just it became a health hazard on the property, is what it became.
Another thing that we talked about too was when they are hiring new deputies to make sure that they're doing a thorough background check for white supremacy tattoos also on their bodies, like
Yep.
making sure that the people that they're hiring aren't from these white supremacy things
Gangs.
like that. Yeah.
Gangs, right. pretty
Gangs.
much,
Terrorists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
How come we don't make, one thing I think, I just believe that anyone that's on the force, any police force or whatever, before they can be accepted, they must all wear their swim trunks so we can see what tattoos they got on them. Because now when I was growing up, the police officers had short sleeves. Now they
Yeah,
got
right?
sleeves all to the.
Because they got
to the
all these
top of their
tattoos and
hand.
stuff on them.
Yeah.
So
That's
what are they
acceptable.
covering up from
Yeah.
us? What are they hiding?
Never.
And when you allow them to be an officer or whatever, you gotta know. You gotta know what they're hiding from.
That's right.
Well, and not just swim trunks, I think they need to wear pink underwear.
And I think that when they do whatever they do and having them wear their swim trunks, that people such as yourself from different neighborhoods should be able to say, we don't want that one over
That's
here.
right.
We don't want this one.
Have our
over here.
panel.
We'll
Yep.
accept that one.
Yeah.
We don't, there should be some choices.
That's
You know,
right.
you should have a choice of who you
That
feel
makes sense.
should be in our neighborhood, and based on what they're hiding up underneath them uniforms and stuff, you will know. Because I know up there near Apple Valley or whatever it is, they shut the roads off for the KKKs to have their meetings, the police officers.
I mean, I personally do not believe, especially if you're a new officer, just like if you're a new politician, I personally do not believe you go in there with bad intentions to wanna, but the department corrupts. That's where I think it goes. I don't,
Yeah, I feel like the department corrupts from an early age, it's in
Right.
our media, and it's like generational corruption.
Yeah, right,
Like,
yeah.
my daddy was a, so I'm gonna
Exactly.
go,
Right.
like, no.
I'm a people, yeah.
no, no.
Right. Uncles, and, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so,
The tradition.
yeah, and that tradition is racially profiled.
Yeah.
That's why you got his son, his son.
Yes.
Mhm.
Well, I
But
come
it's
from a
our
long
fault.
list of law enforcement that, you
Yeah,
know.
exactly.
Yeah.
My uncles were
Some of
police,
it
my
is-
dad, my grandpa, his
Yeah.
dad before him.
I think that we as,
Serious.
if we've never been arrested, no matter what, imperfect people,
It's
they
horrible right
should
in the back of
all
that car.
join the police force. Everybody, all these young men and stuff or whatever, join the police force so we can know what's up.
That's what I'm saying.
Well,
They
Know
need
what's
more,
up.
they
Even
need
if
more
you
people
don't
of color.
stay
Our
on
color.
it.
They're not gonna accept it.
To be honest with you,
Even
exactly.
if you don't
For
stay
number
on
one.
the force,
I don't have people
join
saying
it. They gotta sift
Yeah,
it.
they have,
I know, but that's
Yeah,
what I'm
not
saying.
at all.
Yeah,
Even if you get sifted
Yeah,
and
that's
you
sad.
are straight up or whatever,
Mhm.
you don't have to stay.
Right, right.
Then after you go and do what they need you to do, then come into the neighborhood and say,
Cheryl.
hey,
Hey,
Yeah.
true.
I'll take a job here from y'all to help you
let,
take
yeah,
out.
let
I'll
you get a
y'all
show,
know,
you down in coffee.
You know, how they react.
Huh?
But
I said, he going trying to get the food, I said, he coughing all this in. I show him what he,
Tell him we
I'm
got this. Let me go wash my hands.
yeah, go get the, you go grab the food.
Hurry up.
I'm not gonna wanna eat. I know it's time to eat in a minute. So I know what he gonna go get. All that.
No.
No, he have it. I'm I'm hungry because I didn't eat dinner or lunch.
Oh, you was waiting?
No, was coming here for a while, and I stopped because, my son, when he got killed, they was trying to say that police had busted his head, and then 2 days later, he had called me, and I was saying, I hope he don't end up dying behind him, getting his head busted. And he had died 2 days later, but it wasn't because of him getting his head busted. I got a big lawsuit going right now, so I can only say so much. They wanted to put it on the meter. I said, it's gonna mess up my lawsuit.
Yeah.
I said, but the attorney said, I'm
So
talking
he
about
passed
everything.
away?
It's gonna mess up. He passed away April 11th, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so after I found out a lot of information in the last 2 weeks, I said, I need this group, cause it's making me feel like I'm gonna have to start talking to the psych now. Cause what I heard and learned about what happened wasn't right.
And
I said, I need to help you
they'll
guys
alter those
fight.
death certificates, they will test,
Yeah, they done already wrote in the last 3 weeks 4 different stories.
Well, you can let him bring him water and hold the bottle, but let him bring him the food.
Mm-mm. So I ain't gonna be able to come no more. That's just being Zoom, Jayla. I'm real funny about my food. My folk wash their hands.
I gotta go rest here.
There's it's right there, right there, right there.
Yeah, where's the restaurant?
Right there.
Yeah, 'cause I saw it in the shop.
Should've got some drink,
We can have one.
Why don't we put the food on the table back there?
Okay, yeah.
don't eat and talk.
Nick,
I think the food should go over on that table now.
I think we have to go over there and eat. Chicken gyro, chicken.
Ooh, yum.
Right?
We got beef, pork, and chicken. Salad.
Oh, this is delicious. Did they have, did they have, silverware and stuff? And napkins and stuff? I mean, we got napkins, but, paper plates and stuff.
Okay, let's go. Oh, it's like salad, or
It's hot. This one's hot.
Good stuff.
Yeah, where is this?
I'm saying, what is different?
You're not having a hard time hearing anymore, are you?
This is like a Euro salad
Oh, yeah?
with rice and stuff like that, salad.
Yeah, that's all it is.
Delicious.
So, what is this?
I put my mask on, so we're looking at food. No, Cheryl,
hey,
you don't have nothing in my car. You know, I usually have everything in my car. No, paper plates. I usually have everything in my car, everything but paper plates.
That's because they figure everybody eating out of one of the containers.
She got paper plates, though.
That's Chinese food.
Greek.
Oh, okay. Seems like everybody got their own box.
That's what it looks like. Yeah, that's what it looks like, Cheryl.
Hey, that's why I got
That's
that
what it
right
looks
here.
like,
saying
look.
a lot.
'Cause here's the Euro with the pitta
Seems like it's all the same.
and salad.
Yeah, salad. It's all the same. Everybody
All
get a
the salads
box
are the
and
same.
mix it.
Here's some more salad.
What's that?
this is chicken,
Oh, that's
gyro.
the chicken. Oh, no, they not all, it's not all the same. Yeah, okay, that's chicken, yeah, it is, it's different ones.
Little
Chicken,
boxes.
Got this chicken and some lamb.
chicken or lamb?
Which one?
Well, I like whatever this is. I don't care.
Beef one?
What do you want with that?
The beef one or the chicken?
Oh,
Okay, then.
salad, sis?
But this is mine.
Everybody, I think you gotta split, share this, ain't it?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, everybody gotta share some in here. Okay.
Why? It's a whole bunch of things.
Is it out of this container?
I think that's just the lamb.
Chicken.
Not gonna be-
That one got, that's a meal. That's why I said I'm gonna keep with me.
Did you want chicken?
Yeah, please. Beef's a little harder to eat.
I got my hand around here so I can grab it.
Oh, delicious.
Yeah.
Oh, let me stop. Whoa, they should have done this here. I said, whoa, I'm in hog heaven. It's gonna be scrumptious. Oh, God, they got everything.
Forks.
And it's the twos and
They
fews.
coming.
Oh, my goodness. Look, I have a salad. My.
Oh, these are like.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
That's another chicken one.
Chicken thing.
I don't know what them is. I'm gonna help myself. That's my food, help myself.
I like ketchup.
I didn't know.
That's it.
Thank you.
It was just enough.
So would you guys be down for going to the board of supervisors? I know some
When?
of you work.
Everybody got.
What day?
I'm gonna try to make it, because they have two in a month.
Okay.
So I need to make it,
That's a
probably
like
like,
that, French fries and chicken.
let everybody, give everybody enough time to schedule, probably by March.
Oh, yeah.
March.
Is this in the morning?
But I really wanna rush it if you do it later in February, because you know, it's good to compound them and not give them time to breathe, just keep coming every
They
which
don't
way.
give us time to breathe.
They don't.
We see this year, Lord, we just thank you for this day. We ask that you continue to bless us and give us strength. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
So that one goes. And this one goes to him.
I was talking to Cheryl, she was gonna give me a ride home, but since you live in Oklahoma, I live in Lakeside. Can you run me that direction?
Yeah.
Awesome.
What part of Oklahoma you live in?
I live, right by the Harley Davidson.
Oh, yeah?
Right on the corner of Camishaw and next, right across the street from the Exxon gas station.
Yeah.
Okay.
That apartment right there, I sit right there, and by 7-Eleven,
You like-
it's on the other.
You like big
side.
chicken?
Yeah.
I'm about, and Popeyes, like I have. They got some rice over there. I'm right in that area. Yeah.
You frequent Popeyes often?
I love Popeye, but I don't go to it as much. I've been there last month about 2 or 3 times though, and I'm starting to go.
They got some good chicken.
Yeah. Take that until I got to another program here. You know Nene?
Uh-huh.
She gives a program from 7 to 8 at St. Stevenson. It's like alcohol for the.
Nene, my cousin?
For the love. Nene Allen. She got married to the guy usually named Dookie Stick from the street.
No,
They
I'm
call
thinking
him
about my
Linnell.
cousin.
Linnell.
Cheryl, do you want me to stop the recording since we're eating or continue it?
I was just gonna talk while we eat.
Okay.
Well, I guess I'm gonna talk while we eat.
You're bad.
Oh, gosh.
Hey, say it, don't spray it.
I don't know if you guys knew, but the county supervisor is in charge of the money. They control the money for the state, for the county, not the state.
For all the lawsuits and stuff? For all the lawsuits and stuff?
Just for the county of San Diego, they give you the money
Pay for the
For everybody.
funding
for all the
for
funding, the
the.
programming,
Yeah, they have to approve it.
departments in the city, the county. But I hear they got a lot of money towards mental health.
Mhm.
Don't use it.
Is this?
But I think a lot of people rob the money.
Of course, that's what they doing.
They don't
Yeah.
give it to the people.
They saying it's for this because they gotta get them grants.
Mhm.
Well, I understand my sister, she's good at this type of stuff. But she live in Arizona. And she said they have grants and all that. You have to write the grants to get the money from them and stuff like that. They know this and they gonna let people know. Cause they feel like people gonna get discouraged now.
And if they don't get a lot of grants, they just keep that money, so people getting right.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
People
They're
don't even
not,
know it.
once they get the
Exactly.
money,
It
it's not like they're really accountable for every dollar. The only money they're really accountable for, say, you get $5,000, they'll say, well, we gave them 9, you know, on their
Mhm.
reports. So they make up for all
Fix
the
fix the
extra money
reports.
that nobody wrote in for.
Mm-hmm.
Ironically, with like Section 8 and stuff, there is no accountability when it comes to the federal government. Did she leave? Looks like it.
Like, they're eating it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It blew up huge.
didn't it? There's no accountability when it comes to the federal government for Section 8.
For anything.
For any of it. I was told by who was it back then? Duncan D. Hunter, the junior, who was an absolute fool. His office told me that years past, Congress and the Senate had basically just voted to be the payee
Mm-hmm.
and not account for where the funds were going. Yeah, I know.
Now, would this also be who's in control of the funding for like the game detailing units and things like that?
Probably. I mean, every funding comes from the feds.
Another police.
Yeah. So legitimately, the funds could be getting shifted around than what they were intended to be given for, and there's no accountability for it on the federal side.
Probably on any side.
Well, yeah, but you get my point.
Yeah, sure. Let me know so I can take off at ample time or at least go to work for. Just let me know the hours stuff.
Vicki, would you be able to go to give public comment to like the board of supervisors? Just speaking to the importance of them putting money where it needs to go in our communities instead of giving more money to the police department.
Speak to the supervisor at where?
It's, their offices, county administration building over here.
Which is off of Pacific Highway. Man, I hate
We
this.
kind of meet there and, like, all be on the same
When is
topic.
this gonna be?
I will let everybody know.
Okay.
I'm just trying to see who all will be willing.
You know.
Except for me, since I can't
Because I
receive
found out,
emails.
like I told you, Sherry, on the phone, so much more about what happened to my son. And the guy that was his roommate, they just got all the paperwork that my son left behind when he was making complaint. His last 4 days before he passed, the guy that was his roommate, I found out was my niece's son. And they moved him to, CRC, and she went up there to visit him. And then the first visit, she couldn't see him, was like 4 months ago. They had a lockdown, they had everybody on lockdown. You know, they were supposed to make 2 video chats. Each time the video thing didn't work. So she, 2 weeks ago, said, you know what I'm gonna do today? I'm gonna go drive up there without making an appointment to see if I can pull your nephew out. She was able to pull him out. He gave her so much information. He was right in that room when it happened. And they tell us so many different stories. They said an ambulance came and got him. They gave him an EKG because he complained about his chest, right? And then they sent him back to the room at 11:03. They sent him back to the room. Then after they read the EKG at 12:13, an hour and 10 minutes later, it only take a minute or 2 to read the EKG when you have heart problems.
That's right.
Yeah,
Then
that's
they went
right.
in there to go get him, but he was already unconscious. They was trying to give him CPR So the fire truck people from across the street came and got him 20 minutes later. When he got to the hospital, they pronounced him dead. Then they made another report last week and said, well, when they got him to the front, they take him out to transport him himself. They're gonna transport him. He went into conscious. Then they started trying to give him CPR. Then the ambulance came, and by the time he got to the hospital, they pronounced that he was dead. My son got jumped on 2 deputies, and they talked about, before they talked about even about his health or anything, they said that Mr. Lacy was a very aggressive person. He always was fighting the officer. He had just put 2 officers in the hospital April 2nd. April 2nd, he found out he had coronavirus. They turned around, put him around the population of everybody. Instead of putting him on lockdown, you're supposed to wait into a lockdown room for 5 to 7 days after they found out he had coronavirus. And then he cried, they said, for 4 days. He was crying, said, I can't breathe, I need help. He passed out the day before. They even took him to the pharmacy. And then they said that he didn't eat breakfast, lunch, or dinner. He said, I can't breathe. I need help, officer, please. And then the nurse came and said, I need you guys to help me. I need you guys to help me. I barely can breathe. I can't breathe. I've been like this for 2 days. He asked each time, then they said, well, we'll come get you later, or we'll put you on the sick list. He said, give me a paper to file 602, and he wrote 3 of them back to back, 2 in 1 day, about his breathing and his chest was hurting. And then when they gave him the EKG, they took him back to the back of the room, and he fell out and died himself.
Wow.
So I got so much information. I said, I need to go to this program. I need to be here to help fight. I said, it needs to be heard.
Yep.
I said, oh, hell no. My baby cried. He cried for 3 days to help him, and they knew he had just got a surgery because he was bleeding out blood out of his penis. I went down there and talked to Sergeant. His name was Sergeant Masters. I got his name written down the time I went down there and talked to him.
Right.
I said, my son is bleeding out his penis. You guys gonna get him out of this jailhouse and sent to the hospital right away. I'm gonna put a lawsuit on you. They took him out 5 days later, kept him in the hospital for 2.5 weeks. Then he got out, was only out for 3 days, and jumped on the officer, found out he had coronavirus, jumped on the officer on the 2nd of April. They moved him out of he was in the mental part. All his life, every time he went to jail, he'd get out of jail, be out for about 2 to 3 weeks, go to the mental hospital. He'd be in there for a month and a half, get out for about a week or 2, go back to jail. And so they always kept him in a green uniform. The 2 guys talked to me on the phone and said, ma'am, we kept asking the officer, why is your son got to be back here with green on, back here with all the blue uniform people? They need to take him out there green, and they wouldn't take him out. I said, because they knew he had a mental problem, so they could keep an eye on him, because they knew they was going to make my son suffer, and they made him suffer like they did. So they didn't put him in lockdown in isolation after they found out he had coronavirus. He had that after he came home, after he got out the hospital, he got out the hospital with coronavirus. And then they stuck him straight back there with everybody else. And he cried out for 4 days because they said, give me a paper so I can file on you guys. The attorney called me today. I said, guess what, Miss Lewis? We got all the paperwork when your son was writing up, asking for help about his chest and his breathing. We got all that. And they got the nurse report. She gave him an EKG, and then she gave him another EKG at 11:03, stuck him back in the back and said, oh, we noticed something was wrong with his EKG. So we went back there an hour or 10 minutes later to go get him, but he was already gone. He could have been at the hospital during that hour.
Yep.
At the university, they could have had him on breathing treatment before that hour had, the 10 minutes that had about.
Half of them
They
officers
didn't
don't even
ambulance.
be working there. They in the wrong business.
Yep. They don't
I
care.
told my attorney, I believe by them knowing coronavirus was going on, they was just in the jailhouse to get paid, not to work, to help these inmates, especially these mentally disturbed. They wasn't trying to help them. They're there just to get their income.
Well, the other portion too is the officers don't have mental illness training.
Mm-hmm.
That's the other downside. So
You know,
That
this
part.
camera's on,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
you know, I know we had a conversation.
I asked her if she wanted it off, and she didn't answer me. That one.
Is it okay?
Yeah.
It's okay, because I feel like if you let it allow it to just fester and hide, then they get stronger, you know what I mean? So I feel like you gotta expose them. I think it's just a trick when they say, don't talk about the situation.
She ain't said too much. She ain't said too much about details.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You know, it comes down to the profession I'm in, and I say it all the time. And I've said it here. If you don't know how to advocate, how can you advocate? You have to stand up.
The holding that stuff in, it'll eat you up.
Yeah. Well, I use a different term. Walk all over you like cheese all over macaroni.
But that's the thing, like, it's like a two-edged sword, because when you bring it out, then they retaliate against you, you know what I mean? Because someone told me not to let people know that my son got a heroin addiction. It was like, you gotta be careful who you say that in front of,
Yeah.
because, you know, you step on the wrong toes, but I'm like, why hide it? It's not rocket science. You just pay attention to what's going on.
With all the tracks on their arm, and you don't want nobody to know nothing, man. Let me tell you.
I feel like we need to know.
Yeah, we
Because
need
a lot
to
of
know.
us think our people are safe in jails and prisons when they're not.
She's holding up the napkins. Anybody need one?
Yeah.
Well, as you guys know, I used to do prison ministry in Donovan State Prison. I did it for 10 years. And, you know, when you're first going in there, you kind of don't know what's appropriate to say and what's not. And so, of course, I screwed up one time leaving the yard. Something to the effect of, you know, he said, have a great day, and I said, West Side or something like that.
Yeah. Lucky you still sitting here. You still sitting here.
Well, the officer laughed and said, don't say that in here.
Lord have mercy. And I was gonna say that too. That's the trip how they have. I mean, it's not a trip. They have it segregated like that with all of the, you know, the different, you know, the blacks over here, the
Yeah.
whites, the Mexicans, the homosexuals, I guess, the LGBTQ and all them other alphabets over here. I don't know. You know what they have, animals. I don't know what all they have up in there. But I'm saying, how can they intermingle though?
Right.
You know, I guess I'll see when I go up there. No, they don't.
No,
It's gonna be too much.
That's how they get their housing paid.
Exactly.
But no, I made that mistake pretty badly.
Yeah, you should have done that. I bet you know. I bet you won't say anything. Okay, get what?
That can get you hurt.
Quick.
Well, that's what he said. Don't say that. But he laughed when he said it because he knew I did not know.
See, that's what they bank on too. They like you. You got what they call a pass.
Yeah.
Right. Hopefully, shit.
Well, see, a lot of my friends, when I would go in there, would tell me, are they going to let you back out? And when I say yes, they're like, darn.
Oh, wow. I went in there, you never would believe that these people, I mean, just by looking at them, some of them are convicted of the crime that they're in there for, just by looking at them. Now, some,
Yeah.
be like, okay, I kind of believe that. You kind of looked at, but you know, looks are deceiving.
I tell you, my son, when he started having his episodes, he was beaten because they looked at him like masseuses.
Yeah. Yeah, because they don't know how to equip with it. And you know, when kids act, that's the first thing when
They treat it like
us as
kids.
kids get to acting up like that, we gonna get it.
Right.
Acting a fool,
Right.
not knowing that, not knowing what to do. So that's your first.
Right.
Right.
That's why they need trained professionals in mental health to
Yeah.
respond to
And
it.
it's like, what do you do? It's hard. It's hard to see your child just sit there, not even looking like themselves,
Right. If they don't
and
get
call
that
you all these kind of names that they never would call you.
So you know it's not.
In their right mind, and just looking at them like, man,
No, it's not.
that's real hard.
You
Well, see,
don't look like the villain sometimes.
Yeah.
the people who, at least in the state prison system, the people who drive the ambulance to the hospital are the COs.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly,
really?
all that.
Emergency or?
It's a
Like
CO
you said,
that
he
comes
was only
in, they have the
cell
ambulance
phones
parked
or
somewhere.
Oh,
Drive it
Facebook.
straight
Look
around.
at Facebook. Look
It's
at
always
Facebook.
correctional
Now,
But the
what's this
rooms,
Every day.
People who drive the ambulance in the state prison system are correctional officers.
You cooking and all this shit, you ain't supposed to have no stuff. Girl, we'll be looking scrumptious.
Well, see, I've said for a long time that
All kinds of stuff. No, we had this today.
I-
now, stay there.
I've said for quite a while now, when it comes to elections,
Yeah.
there's a different way of doing it. For every single one of the politicians, doesn't matter the party in prison, give every single one of them a shotgun, last person standing gets to be in office.
You got a wild imagination.
Don't I? But it weeds them out. It completely weeds them out.
Yeah, let me tell you, boy. Boy.
Well, you know, that's what they just did in the Old West.
I don't know, JB.
Have the old-fashioned saloon shootout.
Y'all stop.
She's crying over there.
What's his name, AC Green?
You would come up with that, right? You know, the last one said. See enough of those tactics.
The full-blooded. Yeah.
You needed that.
Like you.
My daughter has her W-12
To 7. I'm gonna go down.
Y'all gotta get ready to go to church in a few minutes too.
All right.
I'll go by 7:15. I'll be by 7:15.
Well, if I'm here next time,
All right.
Thank you, Vicky.
Wanna
We'll
get
see you
our
next time.
Get our picture? We not,
What
do
picture?
a family picture, I mean,
I can do it on this.
Okay.
Yeah. On
A
the,
group picture now? Okay, yeah, because I gotta go to this 7 o'clock meeting at church.
I'll be out of it, but I can do it on this.
Stop the recording.